If you've been scrolling through endless camera forums, watching side-by-side shootouts, and still can't tell whether the new Nikon ZF is the right fit, you're not alone. Most of us end up stuck between a glossy design that looks like a classic film body and the fear of spending a lot of money on a system that might not click with how we actually shoot. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review I'll walk through the moments where the ZF either saves the day or makes you wish you'd stuck with your older kit, so you can decide with confidence before you click Add to Cart. Let's start with the day-to-day rhythm of using a full-frame mirrorless camera. The first thing you notice is how the 3.2-inch vari-angle touchscreen folds up and down, letting you frame from low angles or do selfie-style vlogging without a separate monitor. I tested that by shooting a street fair documentary, where I was constantly ducking under stalls and then climbing onto a rooftop for a wide cityscape. The screen stayed bright enough in the late afternoon sun, and the touch focus worked instantly when I tapped a moving cyclist. That kind of flexibility is a practical win for anyone who likes to move fast and doesn't want to wrestle with a fixed rear screen. Autofocus is the next big question for most buyers, especially if you're coming from a DSLR background where you're used to a separate AF sensor. Nikon's subject recognition with 3D tracking feels surprisingly confident on the ZF. I set it to track a child on a playground, and the camera kept the face sharp even as the kid ran between swings and a slide. The AF didn't hunt like some entry-level mirrorless bodies, instead, it adjusted smoothly, which is a relief when you're trying to capture candid moments without constantly refocusing. For hobbyists who love spontaneous street or family photography, that reliability can be a game-changer. Low-light performance is where many full-frame cameras earn their reputation, and the ZF lives up to that expectation. I filmed a concert in a dimly lit hall using only the native ISO range and a 35mm prime. The images retained color detail and the noise stayed well controlled, letting me pull a clean still from the video later. The built-in image stabilization, while not as aggressive as some in-body 5-axis systems, still gave me 2 extra stops of shake reduction when I was hand-holding a 50mm lens for a nighttime portrait. That means you can get usable shots without a tripod in many low-light scenarios, which is useful for wedding assistants or indie filmmakers who are often on the move. Speaking of video, the ZF handles 4K recording without overheating, even after a marathon 30-minute take. I shot a short travel vlog with the camera mounted on a gimbal, and the heat sensor never warned me to stop. The pixel shift shooting technology, while primarily a still photo feature, can be leveraged for video by giving you ultra-sharp reference frames for color grading. It's a niche advantage, but if you're the kind of creator who loves to push the image quality a step further in post, it's a tool worth knowing exists. Now, let's talk about the lens ecosystem, because a camera is only as good as the glass you pair with it. Nikon's mount has been growing steadily, and the ZF is compatible with the full line of mount lenses, including the high-performance Nikon Z2470 f2.8 and the ultra-wide 1430 f4.0. If you already own a few Z lenses, the transition is seamless. If you're starting from scratch, you'll find a solid selection for portraits, landscapes, and video, but you'll still be waiting on some specialty primes that other manufacturers already have. For someone who already has a Nikon DSLR with fount lenses, you'll need an adapter, which adds a slight lag to autofocus when using older glass. That's something hobbyists who are happy with their existing kit might want to consider. Menu navigation on Nikon cameras has a reputation for being a bit dense, and the ZF is no exception. The touchscreen makes it easier to scroll through settings, but the depth of the menu hierarchy can feel like a maze when you're trying to change a single parameter quickly. I spent a few minutes learning where the custom function for iDetect AF lives, and after that the workflow smoothed out. If you're a beginner who prefers a camera that tells you exactly what to press, you might find the learning curve a little steep. However, for a creator who enjoys tweaking settings to suit each shoot, the flexibility is a plus. Battery life is another practical concern. The ZF uses the ENEL15C battery, which gives roughly 500 shots per charge according to Nikon's rating, but real-world usage, especially when shooting video and using the vari-angle screen, drops that to about 350 shots. That's enough for a day's work if you plan a few breaks to swap in a spare, but it's not ideal for a long documentary shoot without the ability to charge on the go. Carrying a second battery is advisable, especially if you're a